Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Hacking Music Conversations. I'm here with John Pisciotta. Good morning, John.
Morning, AJ. How you doing?
Good, good. I'm excited to have another episode with you, and we're going to
Yeah,
be talking. We're
yeah. I know you're busy with some shows on your artist end. So thanks for jumping on and joining up and jumping in on
oh,
another
I
conversation here.
Well, I actually look forward to these conversations because not only do we talk about the hacking music strategies that you've created over the years, but we're diving deeper into each one, and we've created a week. Actually, you created a week in July that we'll talk about a little bit later, and some guests coming on.
Yeah,
Um,
hacking
but
music.
today we're going to talk about something fun called the bowling hack, which is strategies to execution. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, yeah. So locking strategy to execution. One of the Achilles heels in artist temperament is the challenge of pulling up to a high level and seeing your career at maybe for the year out or 2 years out or 3 years out, kind of where you want to go over the next couple years.
Right.
It's just artists are really good at the creative part of it and the high touch part of it, connecting, creating, those kind of things. But there's a challenge in the strategic. So one of the things we talk about in the hacking music training that we recently finished that you were a part of is called the bowling hack,
Yes.
and we use that internally with our artists and through hacking music. We use it with broader artists, but what it is it's a easy onboarding way to help artists kind of see their day-to-day boots on the ground tactical stuff with where they want to go strategically. um, and it's taken from bowling pins. I can let me see
Yeah,
if
let's see some rap. I loved this one not only for the strategy behind it to get to where you want to go in the bigger picture. But it makes so much sense. But in an artist like myself, our minds get jumbled all the time, as I was mentioning, because we're
yeah.
creating videos. So keeping focus, that's why I love this one.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So this is the problem that we find ourselves in. Artists kind of get stuck chasing their tail, trying to be everything to everybody, and so this is what hacking music does at a high level. And with the bowling hack, everybody knows what bowling is, right? You've got X amount of pins, and you hit that first pin, and then that leverages the next two pins, and then that hits the next three pins and the next four pins. So there's a real momentum that happens naturally, just through the physics of bowling. That when we kind of map that to our strategy and our execution, that same thing happens. You hit the first one and you go, oh, wow, great, we did it. And then that kind of
Right.
accelerates the next one. And it kind of, again, we talk about gamification quite a bit, but it turns it into a fun thing. You're like, oh, wow, we nailed that first one in 30 days. Great, let's keep going and push forward into the next one and the next one. So it turns it into fun. Um, so that's the bowling, just the physics of it. And what we do is, let me see if I can get that next one in here. So you kind of take the bowling thing here and you say, okay, over the next year, 2 years, whatever your time frame is, what are the, in this case, 6 things that should happen, right? Have to happen. Like we want to make happen. These are the 6 things that are chunky. They're not going to get done in a day. They're not going to get done in a week. They may take 30 days to, a quarter, 90 days. So they're kind of chunky goals, right? So what we do, and we did this in the course, is you kind of map out your year. Say, okay, this is what my year looks like at a high level. This is very strategic. And when we talk about locking strategy to execution, this is the strategic part of this. This is the high level part of it that most artists kind of can't get to easily.
It's
So
important to take time in this. I mean, it's important to take a lot of time in this.
absolutely, yeah. You
And
don't get this right in 10 minutes. You want to take a morning or an afternoon with you and your team and go, okay, guys, here's what I think the year looks like. These six things. What do you think? Am I biting off too much? Am I biting off too little? You want to right size it to where, it's a stretch. This is going to use every part of you to hit these six goals. Um,
right.
but yeah, you want to talk about it with your team. You want to take a couple hours, take an afternoon, whatever um, that looks like for you. But yeah, don't rush this. It's about really kind of getting that conversation right with you and your team, saying, guys, this is where we're going as a team. And the beautiful thing about the bowling hack, AJ, um, and this is something we heard from a lot of members of the training, is that it really creates alignment within their team. Because
Mhm.
when everybody, say you've got a three-team member, the artist, maybe a manager, and maybe another entity, party person, everybody's focused on hitting that first pin. And all of a sudden, all those conversations really start to focus and get alignment on, boom, pin number one. This thing's important because it's going to drive momentum and it's going to be a domino effect back to pin number two and three. Um, so everybody starts to kind of go, okay, yeah, let's get hungry. Let's get, you know let's chomp at the bit on hitting pin number one. Um, so what you do once you have your six parts of your year. I hate the word goals because it has carries with it so many weird things. But your six pins, we'll call them. Then what you do, then that's kind of your strategy. Like for the next year, these six things, we're going to print this out and put it on our wall. Everybody's going to have this on their wall. Um, this is going to kind of set the path for the year. So that's half of it. The other half is the tactical day to day, where you okay to hit pin number one. We're going to do this again. We're going to take these pins and we're going to go okay. These what are the steps to hit pin number one? You could do this again through the same bowling graphic. Say okay to nail pin number one. Maybe it's release an EP, whatever that looks like for you. But the six steps, tasks to nail number one. What are those essential chunky things? Now, these will be smaller because they all are focused on hitting number one, but they all have the same target. Um, and that's your tactical day to day. You only focus on those things that hit pin number one. Um, so that's kind of a quick and dirty. We get much more
Right.
granular than that in the training, but that's a tool, a simple tool, really, that helps you kind of get out of your head, get out of you know,
That mindset.
yeah. It's just it's wishing rather than doing. So okay, like these, you know that pin number one is the first thing you want to hit, and that's really all you're focused on. Um, So we've seen that really kind of. We pulled out one from years ago that we had forgotten about when we recently moved, um, and we were like, "Wow, that bowling hack that we did, we nailed like 80% of it."
Yeah, right.
And we kind of forgot about. Oh wow, that yeah, we did that, and we didn't do that one, but who cares? 80% of it, you know,
Right.
when you get 80% of your year right, that's massive, right? Nobody's going to get 100%. It's not about being perfect. It's about being pretty damn good and showing up and hitting your marks and making your days. So the bowling hack is a really powerful tool that we like to do at least every year. Sometimes we, break it down into 90-day sprints, but it's a way to get alignment. It's a way to get focus. It's a way to lock strategy to execution. Um,
And when you hit one of the pins, I find that it drives you even more. You're your drive and your passion get renewed, and you just want to keep doing more, which is
It turns it into a video game, a real life video
right,
game. It's the game theory that we talked about in hacking music, gamification. Like, some of this is fun, some of it you want to do, but other
right,
parts of it are like, oh, I really have to do this, this, and this. So it kind of takes that avoidance part of it and goes, okay, guys, pin number one, it's important. We've all agreed on it, and that means we have to do these three things that kind of suck. So it really makes you kind of go do the stuff you don't want to do in a way
right.
that's fun.
That's
So
great. That's
so yeah,
awesome.
that's kind of the quick and dirty of the bowling hack of locking strategy to execution.
And that's going to be part of the week that you actually started July 5th. We're going to be there together. Hacking
Yeah,
music. Tell
yeah,
us about that a little bit more.
yeah. Hacking Music X is coming up in a couple weeks, early July, July 5th through the 13th. We're going to have training sessions, um, two training sessions a day. I'll be training in the morning, and we're going to have a guest trainer on in the afternoon. And really, the whole spirit of hacking music is really not about us. It's really more about building into the next generation of artists. Like you've
That's what I love.
experienced with hacking music already. It's like, it's not about, oh, Rodney Jerkins produced Michael Jackson. Isn't he awesome? Let's all bow down at Rodney Jerkins' feet. It's not about that at all. It's about, okay, Rodney, tell us, share some things, share those three things that are essential that you've found that you don't share anywhere else and that you want to gift to people in a way that really, like these three things, if you do these often, whether they're hacks, habits, or force multipliers, whatever you want to call it, these show results. So our guests are going to be sharing things that maybe a little more private, maybe a little bit more don't get talked about often because they're high value things. So that's kind of the spirit and the idea behind Hacking Music X.
So we have one guest, Pinky Gonzalez, who's coming
Yeah,
on board.
yeah, that's right. Pinky Gonzalez is going to be joining us for a training session. And Pinky is a fantastic force of nature. He started a company called Echo Music that was sold to Live Nation for many dollars. Um, and he's run digital campaigns for Kanye West, Beyonce, Alicia Keys, Kelly Clarkson, just tons of artists. So he's going to be talking about story, like how do you tell your story in a way that is authentic and believable. Sometimes artists don't want to talk about themselves; they want other people to talk about themselves, and the top tier dominating artists all kind of do it naturally without it being icky. The Garth
Right.
Brooks, the Taylor Swifts, um,
It's
Jimmy
like they
Buffett.
make you part of their world genuinely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Pinky's going to be talking about myth, magic, and the art of music marketing. How to tell your story in a way that doesn't make you throw up in the back of your mouth. You're not bragging, you're not humble bragging. Oh, here I am winning the American Music Award, or here I am doing this. You're telling your
Right,
story in an organic way that really draws people to you rather than is an ego fest or makes the
right.
artist feel gross. Um, so yeah, that's going to
Sounds
be a blast, and so yeah, we're excited to have Pinky with us on Hacking Music X here.
and I'm excited to be part of it. So it starts July 5th. The link
July
is on the
5th,
bottom. Yeah, if you haven't signed up already, there's the link. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I know that because
we're going to have a
um,
blast, and tickets are going pretty fast. We're about 60% committed already, so you definitely want to snag your tickets early. And yeah, like you said, there'll be a link below.
awesome. So John, thanks for having me again and talking about
Of
just
course.
one of them things we're going to talk about in July and much, much more. So we will be back on Wednesday for another hacking music conversation. So thanks, John. And I'm AJ Jansen. I'm a graduate of Hacking Music. John Pisciotta is with me, the creator of Hacking Music. And we will be back Wednesday.
See you next time, everybody.